Hello everyone, it's Jessica here with another layout for the Thermal Web Design team. Today I'm going to show you a new shade of some of the deco foil transfer sheets, and I'm going to create some really cute die cut leaves using the Harvest toner card fronts, and then these new ones that are in the shop as well. So I'm going to be using the Hey Gorgeous and then one of the little phrases. So I will cut those apart momentarily, but for now I'm going to prep these toner card fronts with some Distress Oxide inks, and I am using Crackling Campfire and Dried Marigold to just blend some of the color on here. And I know it looks pretty bold, but when it dries it really tones down and they do blend together quite nicely, but it looks pretty bold right now when they're still wet. But I am just blending on some of the colors here and just alternating where I'm placing them. And then I just kind of take my blending brush and blend those two shades together to kind of create like an ombre effect. So that's what they look like. They're pretty wet right now. One thing to note, I do splatter these with water, but you do want to wipe these off with a paper towel or a tissue or something before applying your toner, your transfer sheet to it for the foil, because it will transfer a lot better to that toner on the front of the card front if you wipe it off first, so it has a better application, I guess. So I am using the all new transfer sheets as well. These ones are cut down so they're 6 inches wide. They are perfect size for the Fuse machine by Gina K, which I am using today as my laminator. So I'm going to go ahead and run these through, and I am just careful that I have enough foil to overlap the whole toner card front, so I have a little bit that's kind of overhanging over the design, so I make sure that it's all nice and covered. So I'm doing the same thing with that second one. I'm just going to go ahead and run these through real quick. This laminator actually runs pretty quickly, and you saw me heat that up here as I was working on these designs, so it heats up pretty fast and it runs through fairly quick. I'm just going to go ahead and cut these designs that I want to foil on here. I'm just using 2 little phrases, one for my title and one as like a subtitle, and this came out all foiled and beautiful and shiny. I'm gonna go ahead and send the second one through, and I do have a couple notes on this foil which I will talk about here in a moment, but I want to show you what I'm going to do with these toner card fronts. I'm actually just going to pull out my manual die cutting machine and a couple of these leaf dies, and I'm going to cut a whole bunch of those out. But I am adhering these little phrases to a piece of cardstock, because when you send these through your laminator, you don't want them to shift around or anything. And as you can see, my craft and carrier sheet got a little wrinkled on that one side, so I'm going to flip that over because I don't want the wrinkles to be on my design side, if that makes sense. Because if there's any wrinkles in there or anything like that, it could potentially create some black spots or lines in your toner, and you don't have a good transfer if that's the case. So I was careful to make sure that I sent that through on the non-wrinkly side, or if it gets wrinkled, you can simply just replace it with another carrier sheet. So here's my die cutting machine. It is well loved and I use it a lot. I'm just sending these through with some Hero Arts leaf dies to create some little leaves out of those toner card fronts. As you can see here, I did not have a great transfer on these because I forgot to put the foil the right way. So I'm showing you here what you do in that case. As you can see, there's some larger, thicker roller marks, as I like to call them, on the one direction of the foil, and those roller marks are what you want to point towards your opening of your machine. I did not do that the first time. I forgot about it, to be honest. So I'm just running this through a second time so you can see how much better the transfer is. And it is kind of hard to see, but I can tell that this transferred so much better the second time around when I chose the correct direction of my foil. So it's not a huge deal, but if you want like an actual perfect transfer, you want to make sure that you're using the foil in the correct direction. So I made sure that I adhered it as well to that cardstock too before sending through, because that helps it not shift around or create any wrinkles or anything like that. So I did that as well. I'm just going to layer up my leaves here on this design, and I'm going to grab some 49 Market embellishments and an acrylic piece from my stash and some flair from my stash as well to use on this. So I have some embellishments laying here. I just went ahead and cut this one down a little bit to cut those ends off, and then I rounded the ends as well to create that nice little tab at the top of my photo. It's a little photo of my baby girl. I did a little photo shoot for her turning 2 years old, and this is one of her photos from that. And then I'm just going to use this Fall Vibes acrylic title piece to finish that part off, and that's going to be my title. Then I'm just tucking those little leaves in there by 49 at Market, and I'm going to put my phrase down here at the bottom. The foil color that I'm using is a color called Cider. It's new, and I think it's in the shop now. If it's not, it should be released soon. But we got a whole bunch of new colors that were produced, and I'm really excited to dive into those. So they should be in the shop soon if they are not already, but I will link everything down below in the description for you in case you want to grab anything from the Thermoweb shop. And I'll make sure that I link those toner sheets as well, or not toner sheets, transfer foil sheets. So many products. I'll link the transfer foil sheets down below for you as well in case you want to grab that new color. It's really pretty. That cider one is kind of like a rose gold type of color. It's really, really pretty, and it's a really pretty color for fall. And I just love how those leaves turned out after I die cut them. You can still see all the leaf designs in them, and they just look so shiny and pretty, and they're not overwhelming on the layout. It just added a nice little bit of sparkle. So I've pulled out my Ultra Bond liquid glue at this point. I'm just adhering down all of these little elements. I'm going to also grab some of the 3D foam squares by Gina K. You can see my little helper here is down in the bottom right corner. That's kind of her spot lately, and where she likes to hang out and help me with my layout. So I usually give her some things to play with or some paper to draw on. She likes to color, and she also likes to play with all my little goodies, of course. So she's going to be here helping me with the rest of this layout. I'm grabbing those Gina K foam squares at this point. I'm going to go ahead and pop up some of these leaves to give them a little bit of dimension. And I'm just gluing down all of these extra little bits and pieces and just filling in this little wreath. I love to create these little leafy wreaths for fall layouts. I just think they're so pretty. This background paper is by 49 and Market. It's a really good one. I think it's from Spectrum Sherbert collection, if I remember right. There was a whole bunch of different colors of these papers with this circular design, and I just love them, and I am about out of them, and I'm totally gonna cry whenever I'm out of them because I really love them so much. So here I'm just putting on those foam squares and finishing layering all of these up, and then here in a minute I'm going to grab some sequins and add those. As you can see, I am grabbing that Ultra Bond liquid glue here again so that I can adhere that with my acrylic piece here and get that all glued down. It works really nice for stuff like this because it dries clear and it has a really nice stick to it, so I don't have to worry about it peeking through or anything. I'm just going to grab some more of these little foam squares and add to the rest of my embellishments here, just popping up a few as I go. I really wanted to tuck something else down in here and create another little phrase, so I'm going to grab a stamp set by Elle and stamp a little phrase here at the bottom. This little set of ephemera bits here that I'm using is by 49 Market also, but it's from the Crafty Garden collection. It's a nice little pack of ephemera bits, and it comes jam-packed with so many things. So that's what Onyx is playing with there. As you can see, she's patting down all of the embellishments. I kind of pushed those over for her to play with while she's working here with me today, so she has something to do. But it's a really, really nice pack of ephemera. It has so many things in it. Here's some of the epoxy flair that I'm going to be using today, and as per usual, I love doing this. I love adding thread behind them. So what I do is I create a glue dot sandwich, as I call it, with some medium glue dots, and I basically put one glue dot right on the flare on the back side, and then I twiddle my thread in behind there, and then I put another one. That way I have something to adhere down to my layout, and it kind of creates that nice sandwich to stick it all together and have a nice stick down to the layout itself as well. So I just twiddle that around there and get it the way that I like it to look, and then I just stick it down. So I've got 2 of those going on this layout, I believe, and then lastly I'm going to put some of these sequins on here. I just like to sprinkle them on for some randomness, and as you can see, my little sequin thief is coming in and she's creating her own little sprinkly goodness on the side of my desk over here. And here's what this finished layout looks like. So I love this one. I love how it came together in all of its fall glory, and I'll link everything down below in case you want to grab anything. If you guys have any questions for me, please feel free to ask me down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thanks for being here. Bye bye.